Greetings, greetings, greetings. Give thanks and praise to the mystic law, the universe, and its protective functions and forces in nature that guide our thoughts and our path in all ways that are lawful, correct, positive. Give thanks and praise. Salute, people. It's been a while since I drop a video where we are, I drop our, what I call it, philosophical reasoning. Yeah, man. And I must say, a lot of things has occurred over the past couple of months where very interesting, very interesting. One of those things was that I was kidnapped by way of a court order by the Manchester Crooks, doing business as chief judge for the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court Criminal Division. I think it's 144 Maxwell Avenue, Kingston, Jamaica. That court order was a malicious prosecution. It was a court order of a psychological evaluation which sentenced me. Irrespective of what you might call it, it's not a sentence and all of these things. I was in prison for 45 days and 45 nights. You know what I mean? Where I endured mental and physical abuse in the form of torment, torture. At the moment you send a man to an institution or a facility like that, that is a crime. Usually you have to commit a crime to enter in any one of those kind of facilities. And I'm quite sure my learned friend, Mr. Chester Crooks, would have said, yo, make that order and me find myself to some location and get that done and bring the documentation to you. But because you say you have a standing army, the order you bailiff for place handcuff on me, and kidnap me. When I get to your prison, which was the 28th, I was in court and get arrested and spend that night in half a tree bullpen outdoor on the concrete. Inhumane torture, inhumane treatment. The next day I was thrown in a truck and whatever transport that was and take directly to prison. It was a vehicle, directly to prison. And when we get to prison, we're locked down for like 17 days under quarantine in a cell with 4 men. Inhumane treatment. The only thing was that every man had a quarantine mattress, and after quarantine those mattresses were removed. So you have to lay on the concrete floor in that prison. Where I experienced chink. So I have to find the proper name for that chink. Come out of the walls and come out of the mattress and find itself all in your clothes or on your skin, in your hair. I've seen people where those critters, those chinks, eat up them flesh, literally have them face and them skin looking ugly. This was the experience. And I never saw that psychologist until about 3 weeks after being mentally and physically tormented. I mean, So whatever punishment you prescribe, equality is under the law, all are equal under the law. Make sure you prepare for the same punishment for yourselves. No one is above the law. A lot of you people think you're immune. You're not immune. You cannot be immune when you have break the law. It's impossible for you to be immune. Your non-compliance of your bond and that public oath will come into question. Yeah, man. So we're not here to say we're vindictive, you know what I mean? We're not here to say, we are trying to embarrass the government of Jamaica. Now we are trying to embarrass any of our public servants. But no one is above the law. I'm not talking about policy. You know what I mean? I'm talking about law. And contract makes law. You know what I mean? Contract makes law. And when you violate that oath of office and have been found, what would they say? In the capacity where you have breached your fiduciary duty as public trustee, as public servants, and you're going to try to administrate or administrate my property without written consent. When I'm telling you, say, hey, you're trespassing upon me. You all are causing me damage and harm. I'm outside whatever jurisdiction you're assuming or presuming. I've demonstrated that I'm outside of that jurisdiction. So we are not lawbreakers here. In fact, we are law enforcers more so than you think. Or the law will govern what I'm doing and how I'm functioning is the supreme law of the land. And whatever color of law you guys are enforcing can only be construed as policy, color of law, guised as law. So the man or woman acting in the capacity as public servants, you shall be held liable. Yeah, man. And we do not need a court order for that, because you all are bar members, you all are of the same group. You get me? Even if we file a bar grievance against the judge, who is an attorney practicing law from the bench, against the prosecutor, that Mr. Lawson, against the court clerk, probably it's still Mr. Lawson. Probably now they are correcting themselves. Usually, the prosecutor is the court clerk here. So from my appearance or my presentment on this stage in a public arena, I'm quite sure you guys are making a plethora of corrections, stumbling all over yourself. But the public record stands. I love to place documents on the public record where it stands for 1,000 years on into perpetuity. And when it goes unrebutted, it's law. Ignorance of the law excuses no one, not even I. I am not above the law. You get me? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. One more adhere to the public law. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. What them call common law. That's where we are. We are not in an administrative or an admiralty jurisdiction. We have our own jurisdiction, and we have demonstrated that. We move with a court of marshalsea, irrespective if we have a standing army or we have a militia. Law is law. And when you break the law, what do you think is going to happen? When I break the law, what do you think is going to happen? Someone shall be held accountable. And it won't be Regina. And it won't just be the government of Jamaica. We shall hold the man or woman acting in the capacity as public servants, as public trustees. You guys shall be held liable and hide behind any fictitious entity claiming imaginary immunity. You can't do that anymore. If you're wrong, just say you're wrong. You know what I mean? And present proper compensation. And we'll move on along. We'll move forward. Simple as that. But I think your guys' egos and your arrogance is going to create something very, 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 very new around here. I say where I had a traffic court case when I was in prison. I had a May 4th traffic court case, and I wasn't there, so I guess the court take it upon themselves to set a new date. But they called me at the house, or I called the phone inquiring, and they said, no court today. And then the court called me back saying, oh yeah, you actually have a court case today. And if you can make it, I say a couple of hours, but I'm on my way. And I went to court. So Courtney Maxwell is no longer the judge. I have a beautiful Ahuuakh woman as judge. And she seemed like a no-nonsense judge or resident magistrate, my correction. Because at the first, I say all of the police them line up like a schoolboy. Nobody messing around. You know what I mean? This little chubby guy, Martin Dale, him never mess around today. And she gave out an order, said that other guy that's not here who is sick, make sure he's here on the next court date. However, I must say this to you, madam. I've been back and forth in the court since 2019, December. And I've faced a plethora of you resident magistrates. And I've demonstrated on more than one occasion that I'm not a Jamaican citizen. I'm not under your jurisdiction or your so-called policy. Your Risk Management Act, that act, it doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to the people that associate themselves with me. It doesn't apply to our society. Irrespective of your standing army, irrespective of your bullyism, irrespective of your absolute tyranny, I still declare myself a free man. You know what I mean? And for you government agencies that have insurance, I acknowledge that bond and public oath made under penalties of perjury. They are all public officials, public servants, elected and or appointed, federal, state or local, in full accord. All of those things are documented on the public record. However, you guys choose to ignore any and everything. My Superior Court of Record, Public Record 3343. Document stands as law. That's a contract. Know what I mean? And the moment you go administer my affairs without making sure you have some kind of control or that property belongs to you, then you're trespassing. Know what I mean? And when 2 or 3 police officers stop me on the highway, that is a conspiracy against my right because I wasn't in a Jamaica vehicle, government vehicle. I didn't show you a Jamaica driver's license. I present a world passport document. My vehicle have a decal on it with information. Know what I mean? Non-commercial conveyance information. And all those things are public notice. So because you're ignorant to these things, you're going to say it should excuse you. It won't excuse you. You have caused damage and harm since 2019. Constable Kirk Weston, Constable Martindale, Byron Martindale, Corporal Tyrone Walker, Detective Sergeant Kirk Rhodes, you guys shall be held liable. And the man or woman acting in the capacity as resident magistrate giving orders, there will be a bill, just like Mr. Chester Crooks will have a bill after that order he gave. And for the prosecutor or the court clerk who is controlling the finances, the double book entry system, that it's called accrual method of accounting, where you guys practice, what would we call it? Human trafficking. All of these things will eventually come to the forefront. But the moment you mess with my bond and I underwrite it, it's called fraud. It's called fraud. And fraud vitiates all things. And I will prove fraud in every step of this way without even calling it fraud. Easily. Because I can show, I can present for the record and for the evidence as exhibit a certified copy from the public record stating I have secured my estate. I have claimed my estate. Now, if any one of you resident magistrate, court clerk, prosecutor, or public servant, policy enforcers have a claim or can rebut my claim with verified proof, which is a certified copy from the public record, then you guys better present that. It's nothing personal, people. Don't take nothing personal anymore. It's all business. And the only thing I ask Mr. Chester Crooks in that court is, who are you? If we're going to do business, what is your name? And him tell me his name is Crooks. And asking me how, if I plead guilty or not guilty. Plead guilty or not guilty to what? Where is the crime? Where is the victim? Where is the corpus delicti? Where is that victim with a verified claim that I, as man, has caused damage and harm to a next man or woman? Or I destroy anyone's property? Where is that claim for the evidence to constitute a crime? Are you going to convict me or charge me with a crime without a victim, a victimless crime? That is fraud. That is fraud. You know what I mean? And somebody have to stand up and say, enough of this garbage, because it is garbage. When I went to court and did 45 days in your general penitentiary, now called Tower Street Adult Correctional Center, 45 days in that place is an experience. And it's an experience that you cannot erase. And the people where you end up live with, because you end up have to live with man. You end up have to live in a cell, 3 or 4 men at a time. Best thing I do was buy a hammock, where I have to climb and swing up in that thing in the ceiling, so I don't have to worry about what's going on downstairs on the floor. That's a priceless experience, and I don't take it personal. Part of the journey. But someone shall be held liable. You won't just send me to that place and then you walk away in the sunset. It doesn't work like that. For your cause, there shall be consequence. For your commission or your omission, this is how you shall be judged. For your actions or your inactions, you get me? This is how you shall be judged. And this goes for any and every and all public servants. You're not above the law and you're not special. When you're a public servant, you're here to serve the public in a what? A public trustee capacity. And you're trying to administrate my trust without my written consent. And the Lincoln O'Neill Dallas is a trust. It is an estate. And it belongs to me. I've made that claim and I can prove it. Can you? Can any one of you 4 police officers, policy enforcers prove that I have caused any one of you guys damage and harm, I can prove that you have been causing me damage and harm. And the public record will verify that proof. So you have your group, your private group, your conspirators against fundamental rights. God, Chapter 3 of the Jamaica Constitution of 1962 state your fundamental rights. Your fundamental rights mean it's basic. It didn't derive from man. That constitution only protect those rights. And when these public servants go outside the secured, protected constitution, then they're violating not just their oath of office, it's a breach of their fiduciary duty. And it is treason. It's treasonous act. You have violated a sovereign man in his sovereign state capacity making this declaration, and you have a problem with it because of your arrogance. We're not here to prove this or that. We're just here to demonstrate that, listen, I am free. I have a right to challenge the jurisdiction of any court, especially this administrative court, this inferior court, this traffic court. I have a right to challenge your jurisdiction, to challenge your authority, to challenge your control. But from my due diligent research, the court is a public accommodation. It's not a private lodge, even though you guys might think it is. And when you infringe on a man's constitutional rights, it's called trespass. And I have a trespass notice out there. I have a fee schedule notice out there. And absolutely no man on this earth can place a value on me. You can't tell me I only value $100,000, I only value $20. You get me? For the trespass, it's a $1 million USA dollar at par value, not market value. So you talk about some silver coins. You know what I mean? That's lawful money. Now, I'm business friendly. I am negotiable. So when I say I want 100 million and you bring even 100,000, come give me, then I could talk, I could negotiate. Don't let arrogance get the better of you and we start move to a next process and a next process and a next process, and then boom, surprise. Then you want to send out a hit on me. I was sent to prison unlawfully and I don't complain about it. Ask my people, I never cry about it. And I do not take it personal. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I identify and recognize it as business. Now, someone will have to pay. It's only business, it's not personal. I'm quite sure, like I have my children, when me love so dearly, and then love them daddy so dearly. You get me? I have all kind of people around me where feel the same way like I do with them. You know what I mean? And I'm quite sure my good friend, my learned friend, Chester Crooks, have children that love him dearly. I'm quite sure he has people around him who love and honor and respect him. I'm quite sure. Some of the day I try to be rude and disrespectful. I won't do that. All I'm saying is do not take it personal, because I don't take it personal. But I know you get a good laugh in that lodge meeting when you sentence me to 45 days. You get me? Freemasonic initiation and signals, symbols, that 4-5. And I never complain. You get me? You hear how I'm sound. I'm still laughing at it. You know what I mean? Because now you can't say you have not caused damage and harm to me. It's recorded there, right there in that story. And I have to be compensated properly for this damage and harm. I must be compensated for this damage and harm. And for the traffic court, listen, it's the very same process. It's the very same process coming to all you 4 police officers and any and all third party that attach themselves to this case or to my case. All of y'all. And it's a non-judicial process. You're not going to ask no permission to do anything at all. You have caused damage, you have caused harm, and you have got more than enough time to look at information and come to the table and say, hey, send him about him business, let him get him automobile, give him a little bit of compensation, because this man and I look not rich, is not no money. Just leave him alone. And I probably wouldn't even have a YouTube channel right now. Truly. You know what I mean? I would walk away quietly because this is where I was in the private. But so now that you pull me in the public, you make me a little uncommon man, now I become uncommon. And when you, my learned friend, good friend, or me have to call you a friend, because though you deal with me, I am most friend for you, can just administrate my property as if it is yours. And I'll order me to be arrested as if I'm your property. You have to be a very good friend of mine. Boss, master, listen man, equality under the law is just that. So whatever you think you can do, you know I can do. And if God create man in his own image and give man dominion over all things, then who is you, a next man, to think you can dictate terms and conditions without me agreeing to it? And then giving orders as if, you know what I mean, I'm your slave. I'm not your slave. I don't work for the government of Jamaica. Her Majesty's Parliament have no authority over me. And I've demonstrated all of this, but sometimes your arrogance get the better of you guys. Because when I finished my 45 days and came back into court, what did you say to me, my learned friend? They said, Mr. Dallas, because that's the only way you can address me. You have to bring me down to a level where you say you can't see me as man. So you have to call me Mr. Dallas. And I will call you Mr. Crooks. And you, Mr. Crooks, said to me, Mr. Dallas, you ready to go back home? And I said to you, Mr. Crooks, certainly. Certainly. And I think your next question to me was, are you taking any medications? I'm like, none at all. And he was looking at that psychological report, whatever it was. And I said to you, Mr. Crooks, do you want me to tell you what the doctor said? And you permit me, and I tell you, the doctor said, him and Chester Crooks, good friends, and it is my attitude why I'm there in prison. The next part that I didn't say to you was that Dr. O said to me, he has the power to keep me in prison for as long as he wants. Now I know that is a true statement on his part, but I know it's also an impossibility because Dr. Wu only has an opinion, just like you, Judge. You only has an opinion. You get me? When you send me to prison, it's just your feelings. That's your opinion. It's just your feelings. It don't have nothing to do with law. And when your doctor who find no psychological problems with me, then who is going to pay for all of that? Are you going to ride off into the sunset and say, yeah, you destroy a man's life, destroy a man's reputation, defamation of character? I've had people running away from me, say, boy, if them ever lock up the king and thing, that, they don't want to get locked up, so them just run away from me. So who's going to pay for that? The government of Jamaica? Certainly. But you, man, acting in the capacity who gave that order, shall be liable. Shall be liable. So if it's 1 year or if it's 1,000 years, it will be on the public record. And it's not personal. It's for you in the traffic court if I'm taking on this criminal court. Because Chad, this process will affect your Supreme Court, will affect the court administrative division. It will affect your whole system, people. So I'm not here to bring no hurt or harm. Come to the negotiating table and fix up my thing, let me get my property and put this thing behind us. It's that simple. You guys can't win. As public servant, I'm your master. I'm your boss. You're my public servant. You're a body politics that can only be governed or govern the people by their own consent. The people can only be governed by their consent. And I do not consent to be governed by a bunch of people who behave so inappropriate. Bunch of people with unclean hands. Bunch of people where all over in the news with all different kind of problems. We don't have those problems. And when we say we're private, we keep ourselves just that private. So we are not lawless. We are not against the law. You know what I mean? We are for the law, the supreme law of the land. Where chapter 3 of the Jamaica Constitution have your fundamental rights there. And when my fundamental rights have been infringed upon, been violated by our very own public servants, then listen, it is a problem. Something needs correcting, and this is where it begins. So it's not personal. It's not a knock on the system per se. Let's correct some things. Let's correct some things. No next man or woman should be able to just pronounce proclamation and orders that destroy people's lives. And then you say, hey, I'm immune. I don't have to face no repercussion for these actions. Just think about it. It's wrong. Yeah, man. You cannot use your might and get right. Not because you have a standing army. You get me? Not because you have a whole bar member society. Wrong is wrong. And you, Mr. Chester Crooks, have done me wrong. You, Mr. Chester Crooks, doing business as chief judge, has done me damage and harm. And if you cannot present or provide the obligation or contract that give you authorization to do that, then it is trespass. And by your actions, you have committed fraud. Now, I mean, you and those and that court clerk and that prosecutor that do not have standing in the court. The prosecutor doesn't have first-hand knowledge of the facts. It's like the traffic court. I see a lady there named Miss Wilson said she's a prosecutor. Very rude lady. I discovered the last time I was in court, the 28th of April, and she's there. I finally get to see who she was because she didn't want to give up her name. In the traffic court, on Wednesday, I think it was, when I asked the judge her name, that judge did not give me her name. She gave me an hint. She said, the last time we met, or the last time we saw each other, you was not wearing a mask, and I was not wearing a mask. And I think she said, leave it at that. So when I kind of recollect, I say, oh, she's talking about sometime last year because I face a plethora of resident magistrate. And everybody want to have me working, demonstrating, sharing and teaching, and nobody want to compensate me. I don't understand why is that. Absolutely nobody wants to compensate me. So the moment I ask this public servant, resident magistrate, Madam, I have complete respect for you. When I ask you your name and you choose not to give it to me, I guess what doesn't establish no contract, there is no case going on. There's absolutely no case going on. And if your excuse is that we can change the judges any different time, and that's fine too. But somebody is going to be held liable. So the man or woman acting in the capacity as resident magistrate for the traffic court, the man or woman acting in the capacity as prosecutor for the traffic court, the man or woman acting in the capacity as court clerk or clerk of court for that traffic court at South Camp Road, you shall be held liable, because I am a free man. I'm not your slave. I'm not a ward of your state. And your 4 police officers, policy enforcers, not even 4, the 3, because these 3 local guys, they had to bring the case to their detective sergeant, who is a proper police, or he's either elected or appointed, but he's the only one that can bring the case to the prosecutor. You understand? And when they bring it to the prosecutor, court clerk now then decides, say, yeah, let's make some money. Let's underwrite his bond using his name, because we won't place our bond on the table. Get me? And let's see if we can, extort as much as we can out of him. Let's fleece him, because we have been doing it for generations now. All of you guys conspired together. So this is why it is a conspiracy against right. And remember, I didn't write that law. Someone knew you guys would act this way, so they put those laws in place. And deprivation of right under color of law, public policy is what is known as color of law. It's not personal, people. It's only business. And the moment you got to do business with the House of Dallas, the moment you got to do business with Linton Dallas, the moment you got to do business with Ahuuakh Indian Nation, there's a fee schedule in place, and that fee schedule is excessive and expressive. You know what I mean? However, only I can tell you any kind of value I choose to place on it. And for the fee schedule infringement, that's a 25 million USA dollars at par value. However, we are negotiable. We're business friendly. So I'm telling you, you have a little 100,000. If you even have 10,000 in a silver coin, we can't work, man. Just come to the table. The silence will be construed as tacit acquiescence and agreement to all the terms and conditions herein. So it makes sense you come to the table. Don't be the first. You won't be the last, but don't be the first. Byron Martindale should be the first. It's all lawful, it's all correct, it's all legal. Yeah, man. Not everyone is a criminal, and you won't be able to criminalize everyone. Irrespective of what you guys say, a lie will always be a lie, and the truth will always be the truth. Doesn't matter who believes it. And I say I'm a free man, and when you send me to your prison, it's a kidnapping. You get me? Duress, coercion, it's kidnapping. Force. When you're in the prison, you have some warder and they will walk with some big piece of board, what them call button. But yo, I see some kind of board. You do not want those things to fall up on top of your head, because the people, the prisoners, them express to me what that is like. And I've seen people where, look, it has said deformed, you know what I mean? In there because of those hardware and lumber falling on top of them. So I kind of give thanks when I get that experience inside that place. You know what I mean? It's no different from Pharaoh throwing Daniel in the lion's den, because them throw me in the lion's den, and a literal roaring lion per se, but these guys are lions. Because I'm there in a place where people were accused of killing all kind of people. I'm there in a place with people where talk about them life, a crime like, or Brother Anansi's story would be intriguing to some children. This is what I'm going to expose me to. I'm going to expose me to an underworld where them not have control over. Government not have control over that underworld, irrespective of what is being said. As if a warder working on any cell block, E0, B0 building anywhere. You get me? Belgium, anywhere. And the prisoners themselves say, we don't want this warder you work here. He cannot work there, you have to go somewhere else. And how can you think you can control someone that is already convicted for some heinous crime? When this is the last resort, the only next thing you can do is kill them, and most of them do not care. But I've seen where people is there where me I say, boy, yeah, you have at least a one or two people where I know so them within themselves will do a little bit better and do things are much more different. You know what I mean? While you have others there where you say, boy, them can't wait to get out to come right back. Now the sad thing with prisoners that as man he'll conform. He'll conform and then you can deal with it and live with it. And you can live with it for all 100 years. I'm telling you. That's the sad part about that place. There's a next world. And the moment you put your mind for no, say, alright, this is a brand new, it's like leaving Jamaica going to America. You can't think about Jamaica no more, you have to think about America. Because you're now on the mainland. And it's a whole different world. And if I leave Jamaica and say, boy, may I go to Barbados or any one of these islands, it's the same thing. Brand new world. No different with going into prison. This is why I say crime is like this, because there's no real, that's a prevention for the crime. You know what I mean? And one of the things we I think can help is correct knowledge, correct information. Will probably slow down the crime. You know what I mean? But I don't think putting people in a prison, especially these kind of facilities where enough program is not even there. When you look on the condition, the structure of the prison, it's inhumane. Only through my that I'm like a visitor, I get vacation, I pass through. So I end up on what was that? E0. That's like an administrative block. So that's where I'm at. But on that block it house probably about 140 or more man. You get me? And you only have three, you just say toilet where you can ride, them say ride, you know, because you don't really sit comfortable on those days. And you only have two shower head where water run from for you to take a shower. For over 100 man. Think about it. Inhumanity right there. And the guys them have a tendency where when morning come everybody just pile up and hey, I don't like that part there. So as best as I can skip that part when I realize that there are now enough we can balance sometime, you know. So when most of that ease off, that's when me walk, I take my walk and you know, if you have to piss off, you piss off and you know what I mean? If you have to ride, you ride. But this is prison. And let me tell you something, people. Whole heap of police there in a prison. And the police in a prison mixed with the common criminal and with the you say the exclusive criminal and with the you say the top notch criminal. Everybody mix. You know what I mean? Yeah man. Everybody mix. Right now when me I leave a two police my house with, you know what I mean? One of them sentenced to about 18 years, the next one probably get 10 years after doing 8 years and get an additional 10 years. You know what I mean? And when my dad and the police are coming at the prison same way. Yeah man, but it's an experience where you not really ever forget, you know what I mean? And it's an experience where it's just that, an experience. You get me? And I not what me fear personally. I not fear prison. Truly. I not fear prison. I not fear that incarceration. I not have none of those kind of fears. Really. I'm a say man I live there and know so them not go ever come out. Know what I mean? I'm a dead with a lot of people where I probably another 15 years before them come out. 8 years before them come out. I'm end up a live. Literally, I eat and I sleep with some of them man there. See, because we're in a one house, one cell. Some more time, you end up make some link where some of them link there will last for a moment, some of them will last for a lifetime. But right now, me have a good brethren where is a part of our group thing, Ahuuakh Indian Nation in America. Good brethren Smiley. I've known Smiley for more than 10 years now going on. Get me? And when I meet Smiley in an immigration prison. Smiley is a respectable brethren of mine, very knowledgeable in them law. You get me? And he's here like me and learn this new information. So we meet some people along the way where some people are just passerby, but some people you end up become lifelong friend, whether you want to or not. It just work out that way. Yeah, man. So that experience was an experience where I rejoice over it, I give thanks for it, I celebrate it, I'm not ashamed of it. And I'm not mad. Keep saying it. I'm not angry. In fact, I'm proud. I'm proud because if my good friend, if my learned friend, Chief Judge Crooks, chose to put me through this hardship, put me through this mental and physical torture, torment, and abuse on behalf of his principal, which is the government of Jamaica and Her Majesty's Parliament, and by extension, the Crown. And if them find it fit for say boy pressure in that way, then watch on man. I'll take one for my team. I done say me a Nestorian king and that make me servant of my people, the Ahuuakh people. I am their servant. So I will take this one for the team. It's not personal. However, proper compensation is due. And we now have to take it to a level where we have to file liens and all these things. We shouldn't have to go down that road. We should be men, honorable men. Like how you say, yo, go in at that and go through that and I step up and deal with it. Then you have to say, yo, like when do that, and we did wrong, and say, boy, I'm alright, well, yeah, we'll fix up that thing there, make him have it. That we are maintain some form of honor. You get me? That would be honorable. So proper compensation for those hazing that you guys put me through. It's forthcoming. That's all this is. And for you, traffic court. You, traffic court, now we are in the crosshairs. Especially you three police officers that conspired to bring damage and harm. Martindale placed handcuff on me. That's false arrest and unlawful imprisonment on the side of the road. And all of those things constitute a trespass. All of those things, you hear the crime? Those crimes carry up to 10 years imprisonment. And if kidnapping is involved, you hear the crime. Now I mean, it's up to even the death sentence. So you guys were playing, people now play with fire. Or you think your policy is law? No, your policy is not law, it's just policy. This is law. This is law. Public law. Yeah, man. Step by step, people, as we move forward, step by step. Not necessarily have nothing to prove, but if you say, boy, I prove it, we're going to bring certified copies from the public record, which is the highest evidence form in any court. We'll bring certified copies. So if you want proof, if you want evidence, exhibits, we have it here. Let's hope you agents that's functioning with unclean hands have your certified copies from that public record. But that's where all of your goodies are, right there at that public record. Yeah, man, that's where your estate is. When I know it, it's just a matter of a process now. So we are business friendly. Let's negotiate. Let's talk about it so I can remove these videos from the YouTube platform. You know what I mean? And we avoid any other, you know, unnecessary exposure. We can do it. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. Anyway, there were people that's out there. We know it's a crazy time. We know a lot of people are living in fear. And I don't think it's appropriate for me to tell a man, say, don't be afraid. You know what I mean? Not anymore. Yeah, man, because my experience in prison gave me what is known as introspection. I may have to look what I'm doing, what I've done, and how me I move forward. Yeah, man. So, first thing what I say is you have to, get enough information. So, according to your conscience, you can make your own decision. And when you make your own decision, you just align yourself with like-minded people. And so where you can learn and where you can implement and how you can grow and move forward. We have to always maintain some form of responsibility, and for me personally, my concern is always to the information I'm put out there and to the people where accept the information, not the one them who just listen. The one them where acknowledge and accept the information. I have a responsibility to those people to let them know, so listen, everything is a step-by-step process. Irrespective of what you see people doing out there in YouTube, everybody is doing just what I'm doing, creating a process to separate themselves from what is known as a corporate construct, get me, and still try to function harmoniously. It's not like you drop off the face of the earth, you're right here, but your laws, your policies just doesn't apply to me. And you have gotten public notice and you have passed on those notices to your relevant agencies. So when you see me, you know, say, oh, that's him. Yeah, man, him good and him gone. That's it. And any man who purport to be like me, then the mafia conduct themselves or have the qualification that I have. You know, I can just say, hey, me Ahuuakh, and a man say, let him go. You know what I mean? Present some documentation rebutting the government of Jamaica. Like when you have a government of Jamaica issued passport, I will have a world issued passport, my private document. I have a world birth certificate. It's issued from a different agency, private, not just a government birth certificate. So anything the government of Jamaica bring forward as any kind of, you know, say adhesive, anything at all, I can rebut that easily. Easily. And I have. However, them no want acknowledge my ambassadorship, them no want acknowledge my capacity as dignitary. You know what I mean? As ambassador. They don't want to acknowledge it. So when I'm going to by law, they'll be forced to acknowledge it. By law. Remember, you all are public servants. You're not God. You are employed. And to gain that employment, you have to have insurance in a form of a bond. We notice when I talk about that too much. I talk about my trespass, but initiate my fee schedule. Initiate my trespass infringement charges. Yeah, man. You're now in my world, common law world, where contract makes the law. So the moment you can provide all of those contracts for me, an obligation that I have signed on to, then all of this is null and void. When you cannot present it, then let's negotiate. Let's find some way to settle, irrespective of what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Every cause has its consequence, irrespective of what it is. Every cause has its consequence. So, step by step. People in the Virgin Islands, people in the so-called Caribbean islands. Yeah, man. We attack the British Virgin Island and we attack St. Thomas Virgin Island, American side. Both of them are America. We attack for the Trinidadian Barbados. We attack for the St. Lucia, St. Kitts. We attack for the so-called Caribbean region. People, wise up. No one say wake up anymore. That's wise up. It's time for you guys to start asking questions. Know what I mean? And taking steps to correct your capacity. So you're all Ahuuakh Indians. And this is your land. All different kind of Hindu foreigners came here and usurp your place and then start teaching you that you're from Africa. This is why I always have an affinity for the Haitians. As much as some of them is misled and gone astray because of the new information that's coming in, majority of these people know themselves, know who they are, and know their power. Anytime you say a foreign construct step in our country and govern the country always have a lot of problems. No different from this island here. A lot of criminal violence, a whole lot of problem. And who are govern this place? Not the people. Foreigners. And foreigners hire local people. Understand? Anytime the local people start hold responsibility for themselves and them actions, a lot of things are going to change. But for one, people now going to support too much of the slackness. A lot of people now going to know, say, boy, you over there, so I create problem and allow you to stay there and create problem. When people start taking responsibility, a whole heap of things will change. But because everybody want to delegate them responsibility to someone else, then delegate it to the government, which is a body politics, and that body politics delegate that same authority back to some different set of gangsters. So when a man decides, boy, I'm ready and willing to step up, if I'm lawful and correct, that's what I deal with. Then you might see some changes, both good and bad, because sometimes the system itself not necessarily want you to be too lawful and too correct. Because if you become too lawful and too correct, then now go have no need for policing this and policing that anymore. The whole heap of budget cuts are going to go on. So the criminality is big business. And I tell people that crime is big business. In fact, CFR 72.11 declare all crime or commercial crime or commerce, all crime is business. So when a man pick up him gun and say, I'm going to rob your son, yo, you work for your government. Big business. I've been to the prison. Full of people where obviously they don't even know where they are. You get me? The crime them are commit is so irrelevant. It's pure tribalism. Pure tribalism. And I know because of lack of knowledge. I didn't have enough knowledge for know, say, boy, yo, just like how your life precious, so next man life precious. And if you in a state of mind where you want to destroy and end your life, just do it privately. Because somewhere go jump off a bridge or walk in front of us. You know about that creating a problem where it's one whole community life now it ever cause. Just because you have one problem. One man problem. This gang culture was created by the system, the government political system created gang culture. But there wasn't a gang culture before. Every man was brethren before. And all when you live up to and never not gang thing where you no man. Every man was brethren. But every man a come link up and play ball. If you have one community, and the whole community a play for the one team. You know have a gang round there so play for Marvel, and the next different gang a play for Marvel, and the next different gang a play for Marvel, and the next different gang, 7 gang in the community a play for the one. No. It's everybody come together and bring a team. So why we remove that from this thing? Why all of that change? Why one community have all 17 gang? How the mess is that? One little community, you know, and them a name about 100 different gang in one community. When I see it like that, I say nothing can go, so everybody can dance in that community. Then nobody know that to tell them say we're all one. We're one community. This is a problem, you know. Step by step, people. Step by step. Many shall be called, chosen a few. And as we move forward, try to improve and become better. That's it. We just try to improve and we try to become better. Gratitude for your time, gratitude for your presence. Ahuuakh in their nation, in America, bold and brave, firm and strong. People who choose to stay lawful, who choose to stay correct, who choose to remain on the correct side of the issue, on the right side of the issue, on the law side of the issue. Gratitude.